Do you know that the boundless world of engineering imagination of the last decade, in conjunction with new technological challenges in highly competitive conditions, has generated an incredible number of ultra-modern cars? Today, no one can be surprised by a futuristic design, lightning-fast acceleration to the speed of 100 miles per hour, or an amazing set of electronic helpers and assistants. In addition, the internet is full of reviews of the latest supercars, but you will hardly find a full-fledged selection of unique and unusual cars that at one time became the flagships of engineering and made some real buzz in the automotive community. Today, we're going to talk about them. Lego 42083 Bugatti Chiron is the result of a collaboration between the Lego Group and Bugatti Automobiles SAS. It was presented on June 1, 2018 in the city of Billund at a festive event dedicated to the 60th anniversary of the Lego company. The Bugatti Chiron combines the iconic design heritage of the French ultra-luxury car and elements of the details of the Technic series. Bugatti Chiron is one of the fastest production cars in the world. Its 8-liter 16-cylinder engine generates 1,500 horsepower, which accelerates it to the speed of 60 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds and provides a maximum speed of 260 miles per hour. It's also one of the most expensive cars since its price starts from 2.4 million euros. Norman Timms Special was created back in 1947 in America by engineer Norman Timms. Sometimes people use the second name for this retro car with a very elegant and smooth design. They call it Buick's Streamliner. This car is a truly unique thing that has become the pinnacle of the streamlined style. It is reported that it reached speeds of up to 125 miles per hour. The fast-moving and peculiarly elegant car was built under the impression of German cars of the 30s. Until 2000, the car was considered lost forever until it was found in a landfill in the California desert. In 2002, its remains were bought by collector Gary Shervin. It took him 8 years to restore the car to its original condition. The Cadillac Cyclone is a futuristic concept car from 1959, which most clearly embodied all the achievements of the aerospace industry. It didn't look like a car, but two cruise missiles on wheels. Cyclone received very high and sharp tail parts, opposite inverted elements on the rear fenders, and cigar-shaped sidewalls ending in huge round holes similar to jet exhausts. The large black cones at the ends of the front fenders are just radars. Cadillac Cyclone was equipped with a radar system for scanning the road. So it was a prototype of the modern autopilot system. Cyclone was preserved by General Motors Corporation and is on display today at its Heritage Center. What happens if you combine an electric car, a Segway, and a tricycle? Don't even try to visualize such a thing. Why? The Japanese designers have already done it for you. Back in 2013, the Toyota FV2 show car surprised even sophisticated viewers with its appearance at the annual Tokyo Motor Show. What a unique and completely new type of transportation. In fact, that's how the creators named their creation almost 11 years ago. It still looks very bold today, as if it came from the frames of the Tron or another similar movie. Ironically, the Toyota FV2 has a cool design, and it doesn't even have a steering wheel. Unfortunately, the show car has remained a concept, which was assembled in a single copy. It was made for only one purpose. The task was to demonstrate the engineering capabilities of Toyota. Streamline X Gilda is a car in a single copy dedicated to a Hollywood movie. It was created in 1955 by the Italian design bureau Ghia to order Chrysler. Such a project was conceived by the chief designer of Chrysler of that era, Virgil Exner. He was interested in experimenting with the aerodynamics of cars. After the presentation of the concept at Turin Auto Show, where it could not be sold, the car was placed at the Henry Ford Museum. This amazing car has a rather non-standard appearance, is equipped with a 70 horsepower engine, and can accelerate to speeds of up to 99 miles per hour. The car has already changed its owners several times. It was last bought into a private collection for $125,000. In 2015, the release of the most evil version of Tramontana XTR was announced. While building this model, engineers squeezed all the juices out of the power unit. It was equipped with low-inertia turbines, new intercoolers, and a lubrication system with a dry sump. The Tramontana XTR scored a speed of 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds and had a top speed of 180 miles per hour. The crazy idea of building an expensive car with a design from the last century and not the most outstanding dynamic characteristics somehow attracted a certain number of customers. With a minimum cost of €400,000 and a 1-year waiting time for the keys. Tramontana cars were popular among car fans and collectors. Designed as a concept car by Atelier Pininfarina, the Ferrari Modulo was first shown at the 1970 Turin Motor Show and went on a world tour that was in such demand that it lasted almost 14 years. While most concept cars are just shells showing the sketchy work of designers, the body of the Modulo is based on the chassis of a real Ferrari 512S, a racing car from the Endurance Championship with a 5.0-liter V12 engine. The concept created a lot of noise and rumors in the automotive industry. In the following years, it received ovations at car shows around the world and was awarded 22 awards for its style and design. We all know that those years when it was believed that a car was a toy for men have long gone. At that time, women had no chance to dream of having a car. The specialists of the QAD, the company completely covered the Mercedes-Benz SL600 Coupe with rhinestones. The steering wheel and door panels of the car were decorated with gold, and the seats were generously trimmed with fur. The sparkling car was shown at the Tokyo Motor Show in 2016, where the public was delighted with what they saw. This Mercedes is lined with more than 200,000 Swarovski crystals, such a brilliant choice for brilliant motorists. In some cases, it can even attract a male audience. The Lancia Stratos Zero is a futuristic concept car presented at the 1970 Turin Motor Show, a year before the first prototype of the production Lancia Stratos appeared. It was developed by Marcello Gondini, the chief designer of Atelier Bertone, who set himself the goal of creating as low a car as possible. The Lancia Stratos Zero body embodied the pure wedge shape. It was single volume, but inside it was clearly divided into two halves, the cabin and the engine compartment. You can't find such typical things as the hood, trunk lid, doors, and roof. Instead, it had a single entrance hatch that served as both a roof and a windshield. The Lamborghini Egoista is a concept sports car produced by the Italian automotive company Lamborghini. The car was designed by the company in honor of its 50th anniversary and was first introduced in 2013. It has been called Egoista for its unusual design and high price. The car has one seat and is only available for driving on the highway, but not on regular roads. The technical characteristics of the car are also impressive. It is equipped with a powerful V10 engine with a capacity of 600 horsepower, which allows it to reach speeds of more than 140 miles per hour. Some may think that customization of existing production cars is a relatively new trend. Well, that's not exactly true. This trend originated back in the 1920s. By the 1960s, there were many custom-made cars. Perhaps the most famous was the Dodge Diora. Its designer was a fan of everything elegant, so he suggested removing the usual doors and replacing them with an alternative entry and exit system. The Diora was painted in an exclusive golden color and received tires made by Firestone specifically for this project. On January 5, 2016, the first show of the FF01 concept car produced by the American company Faraday Future, or FF, took place. The power of the supercar was unprecedented for electric cars. It offered 1,000 horsepower, which provided acceleration to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. At the same time, it was possible to achieve a maximum speed of 130 miles per hour. The cabin can accommodate one person who is reliably protected by the Halo safety system. Oxygen and water are supplied to his helmet. Due to the presence of several sensors, the driver's indicators are analyzed online. In 1954, the first of a series of America's craziest automotive projects was released. It was the Harley Earls jet car. The project was named Firebird 1. GM's chief designer was literally obsessed with the idea of putting supersonic aircraft of the X program on 4 wheels. I have to say that the Firebird 1 doesn't look like a vehicle, however, the advertising effect was obvious. In general, something like the winged Citroën DS from the Fantomas movie or the jet car from the Big Races actually existed in the USA. However, none of them could fly. It can be said that this is a byproduct of Harley Earls' aerial-style activities. Anyway, the Firebird 1 project marked the beginning of the most unusual design developments of this era. Alfa Romeo Carrabbo was created by car design maestro Marcello Gandini in just 10 weeks while working at Bertone's studio. Visitors to the Paris Motor Show in October 1968 were in a state of shock after seeing the design of this car. The designer has always considered the Alfa Romeo Carrabbo one of the best cars born in his studio. The Carrabbo is often considered the winner of the unofficial 1968 Wedge War Award and the direct predecessor of the Lamborghini Countach. It undoubtedly had a great influence on car design for the next decades. The Alfa Romeo Carrabbo is a pure concept car, and it was never intended for production, but it was fully functional. From the first part of the trilogy about the Dark Knight, a real Batmobile was built. It was called Tumbler for its jumping ability. The car was not only able to move independently, but was also very durable, so stunts and jumps were performed by stuntmen for real without the use of computer graphics. The Tumbler has a 500 horsepower V8 engine from General Motors with a displacement of 5.7 liters. The 2.3-ton car was able to accelerate to 60 miles per hour in 5.6 seconds, and its top speed was 130 miles per hour. The car could also make a jump of more than 18 meters in length, which was used for the movie. Throughout history, French cars have always been unusual to one degree or another. This time, the maestro of four-wheeled art from Renault presented their new ultra-innovative buggy crossover called Quid in New Delhi. The extraordinary short wheelbase crossover looks more like a radio-controlled transformer toy. You can't see any overhangs here, which gives the concept an even greater resemblance to off-road buggies. It was not for nothing that we noted that Quid resembles a radio-controlled toy. An unmanned flying companion quadcopter equipped with video cameras is hiding in the roof of the car. By controlling the drone from the dashboard, you can find out the traffic situation or learn about the terrain around you. During the Second World War in France, an engineer named Paul Arnzes decided to create a small three-wheeled electric car. The weight of the car was only 350 kilograms, as it was completely made of aluminum and plexiglass. With one person on board, the car accelerated to 40 miles per hour, but it was totally fine for such an urban microcar. In fact, L'Ouf Electrique was just a tiny sip of freedom and an element of everyday life. While the industry worked mainly for the war, Arnzes made a car designed for completely different conditions. In fact, it was the hope for peace for a bright future. As we all know, he was 100% right. Such an unusual pickup truck was built by American auto mechanic Rick Sullivan with his own hands. As you've already seen for yourself, this car is unusual in that its body is turned upside down. I don't know about you, but for me, this inverted car causes delight and admiration. To develop this miracle car, the American needed two old cars, a 1991 Ford Ranger pickup and a 1995 F-150, and $6,000. According to the developer himself, almost every passing person pays attention to his car. Willys MB is a legend of the Scotland World War. The American wheeled army vehicle moved off-road along with tracked vehicles. The Willys MV is called the father of all SUVs. Sheikh Hamad could not ignore such a creation from the world of Uncle Sam. The original version was enlarged 4 times, so the total height is 6.4 meters. This unique car is on display for visitors at the Automobile Museum near Abu Dhabi. The Ileso car dealership in California has put up for sale the Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita hypercar. There are only 2 similar cars in the world. The method of sales is quite original. This super expensive exclusive can be bought or leased. Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita was built in 2009 to 2010. The name means 3 whites in Spanish. For the car, the company has developed a special type of processing and decoration of carbon fiber with diamonds. The technology turned out to be so complex that Koenigsegg even refused to build the 3rd car. The Trevita is powered by a 4.8-liter bi-turbo engine with 8 cylinders. In addition, it uses bioethanol as fuel and produces 1,018 horsepower and 1,080 nanometers of torque. The hypercar accelerates to the speed of 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, and its maximum speed exceeds 220 miles per hour. The transmission has 6 speeds. Designer Mark Witt, who works at the Applied Design, has created a unique amphibious car called the Sea Lion. The car has not yet officially become a record holder, but it is already being called the fastest amphibian on the roads. Mark was sure that his brainchild had the potential to win the title of record holder among amphibians because it was for this purpose that the prototype was created. The most noticeable difference between this amphibian and its relatives is a low profile with an active wedge-shaped front part. In general, it seems that this is one of the LMP racing prototypes that take part in the 24 Hours of Le Mans races. In 2018, a unique type of mobile home vehicle based on the Porsche 996 car was developed in Spain. The studio Bell & Bell from Barcelona worked on the creation of the exclusive hoverboard model. The Porsche 996 hoverboard is completely hand-assembled, and a real car was used as the basis for it. Before that, the developers were engaged in creating furniture and various types of beds that look like cars. The Porsche 996 hoverboard is one of the first models that got all the advantages of upholstered home furniture and adopted the ability to move independently. Your eyes are not deceiving you. This is really a car created in the shape of a hot dog. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was born in 1936 to deliver the world-famous fast food. Later, they decided to abandon this idea, but oddly enough, the car was still on the move. Its owners, hot doggers Alexan Dog and Jake and Bacon, would often rent out the sausage car for photo shoots and as a mobile home. Taylor Aero Car Company and its founder and developer Moulton Taylor were 70 years ahead of their time by releasing a unique flying car. Unfortunately, only 5 copies of the model were assembled, although there were plans to produce more than 500 Transformer cars. But as often happens with ambitious projects, the founder failed to find an investor. On the ground, the vehicle is unlikely to impress anyone. Why? The maximum speed on the road is 60 miles per hour, and there will always be a large trailer with wings in the back. However, the description of the sale announcement says that the car turns from ground to air transport in just 30 minutes. For such a miracle of technology, they ask for just $1 million. Is it too expensive? The 1932 Ford Model 18 Edsel Ford Speedster was designed by Henry Ford's son and Ford president Edsel Ford. While Henry was a stubborn man who grew up on a farm and therefore valued practicality above all else, Edsel was a born artist who deeply appreciated aesthetics. In 1932, together with the future chief designer of Ford, Bob Gregory, a streamlined sports car, the Speedster, was created, which the president of the corporation was going to use personally. This very unusual turning project of the Toyota Vios sedan was presented in Indonesia. The car, which cannot fail to attract the attention of others, is equipped with 4 axles at once, 3 of which are placed in the rear, forming a triangle shape. The extravagant 8-wheel Toyota sedan belongs to the owner of one of the local taxi companies. In fact, the car is assembled from 2 parts, which were originally planned to be turned into sofas. The Stout Scarab is an American passenger car produced in the 1930s by the Stout Motor Car Company in Detroit, Michigan. It's the world's first car with a minivan body, as well as the first car with a fiberglass body. Most people think that Chinese cars are cheap, slow, and not too reliable. This is a powerful counter-argument from China. Now you can witness the Carlman King luxury SUV. Just take a look at the brutal squint of the head optics and the polygonal design of the body panels. In general, this is a fusion between the Lexus NX crossover and the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk stealth aircraft. Of course, with a big bias towards the invisible plane, the price for the Carlman King starts at $1.85 million for the basic version and $3.8 million for the top package. As you can guess, this is the most expensive SUV in the world. The Messerschmitt KR200 was one of the cheapest cars in Germany after World War II. It weighs only 230 kilograms and can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. Messerschmitt was banned from producing aircraft after World War II. In the 1950s, it entered the microcar market. The Messerschmitt KR200 car is a version of the KR175 model with many design improvements. The car stands out with an unusually narrow body with a folding cabin in an aviation style. The individual quadrocopter submarine, which has an impressive appearance, was developed by 2 American retirees. Chief engineer Graham Hawk and his friend chief designer Randall Fletcher created the Deep Flight Dragon, a submarine that looks like a racing car. The submarine has 4 hybrid propellers that function as water wheels. One can control them using a joystick. The device has the ability to reverse, so you can freely move in all working modes. Now you can witness a full-fledged car that really lives up to its name, the Spaceship of Extraterrestrial Vehicles, or ETV. Mike Vetter created such a unique car. He is known for his unique approach for creating his own cars. They are not serial, so everything is custom made. The ETV is equipped with a 2-liter turbocharged engine and a manual transmission, while more technical characteristics could not be found. Due to its shape, fuel consumption is 5.8 liters per 60 miles. This is a new type of car for people with disabilities, which allows one to get behind the wheel without having to transfer from a wheelchair, thereby excluding outside help. It was presented at the Accessibilities Expo 2016 exhibition. The LB car was produced in the Czech Republic with both automatic and manual transmissions, is designed in such a way as to allow the driver to get behind the wheel by moving directly into the cabin in a wheelchair. A two-seater car with a foldable passenger seat reaches a speed of 40 miles per hour on the highway, thereby giving its owner more freedom of movement. After World War II, Europe was in dire need of affordable transportation solutions. BMW, a company known for the production of motorcycles, decided to plunge into the world of microcars with the Isetta model. As you can guess, they were forced to create it due to the conditions of life at that time. The design of Isetta was invented by engineers with unpronounceable names Ermenegildo Preti and Pierluigi Raggi. In fact, the company decided to sell the license for the car to everyone. They managed to squeeze up to 50 miles per hour out of a particularly small class car. However, it was only its theoretical speed. In fact, the maximum speed was only 30 miles per hour, so such a car would never overtake you or make you nervous. Automotive Italy is known for both high-speed and exclusive sports models, as well as miniature, inexpensive cars for the city. Moreover, mass-produced models also have their own unique charm. A striking example of this is the Fiat 600, which has become truly iconic. The main advantage of the Fiat 600 was its affordable price of 590,000 liras, or 7,500 euros at the current exchange rate. The price was the key to the success of the model. Italians and the residents of other European countries couldn't wait to get such an affordable and cute car. The Fiat F76 was created to attempt to set a new land speed record. In 1911, the record was set by a Blitzen-Benz car that reached the speed of 228.1 kilometers per hour. The Fiat car was first able to accelerate to 116 miles per hour, and a little later, in December 1913, it was able to reach a speed of 130 miles per hour. However, it failed to make the second race in the opposite direction, and therefore it never received the title of the fastest car. The Fiat S76 weighs 1,650 kilograms, which is a lot for a car of that era. This is an ordinary monster truck made on the basis of the Fiat Panda. I have to say that the car is completely insane. In fact, the Italian company Mercurio Cinematografica has crossed a compact hatchback with a chassis from a monster truck. The chassis itself is a seriously modified version of the Jeep CJ7, and the height of the resulting car is 3.9 meters. The car was built by the workers of Fiat on a special order from cinematographers, and the creation of the monster truck took only 2 weeks. The most difficult thing, as the designers admit, was the connection between the Panda controls and the corresponding components of the American chassis. In 2012, Google became the first company in the United States to be granted a license to test unmanned vehicles on public roads. Already in 2014, an improved version of its autonomous car was presented, controlled exclusively by electronics. At the beginning of the last century, cars could be made in one copy while offering unique style and design. Now take a look at the legendary Swan car standing in the Evert Lohman garage in The Hague, the Netherlands. The Brook Swan car was created in 1909 by Robert Nicol Mathewson, a Scottish engineer nicknamed Scotty living in Calcutta. Now the retro Swan car is touring in California at Pebble Beach, where it got into the lens of the film crew. We are still waiting for the dawn of the popularity of universal cars that can not only drive on the roads, but also swim or even fly. It's a pity, but the world's only truly massive amphibious civilian vehicle, the Amphicar 770, failed as much as 50 years ago. Among other things, the Amphicar turned out to also be very bright and attractive in appearance. The amazing shape of these round headlights and record-length tail fins in the rear of the body looked both charming and cute. I have to say that a toy lathe is quite popular among Filipinos. He was a well-known car enthusiast. He developed and assembled the Salamanara amphibious vehicle together with H2O Technologies. This is a three-wheeled car that can travel safely both on land and on water. Lave invented this car specifically for his compatriots. He wanted to show that the Philippines were able to create something unique. It is interesting how road users feel when they see this two-faced Chevrolet Silverado, which consists of two outward-facing truck cabs facing in opposite directions. According to its current owner Eric, the unusually strange truck was built for promotional purposes by the GMC and Chevrolet dealership in Arizona. He bought it years ago when he was looking for a way to promote his business and says it's the most fun car he's ever driven. Fascination 2DR was indeed a real car that could drive and shock the public. The origins of this car began in 1930 under the guidance of designer Paul M. Lewis when he created the Airmobile concept car with a similar body shape. By 1974, a total of 5 Fascination 2DRs had been built. In addition, all the copies have survived to the present day, and one of the collectors owns 3 copies. The world's smallest single-door and single-seat car, the Peel P50, was produced from 1962 to 1965. The length of the car was 1,372 millimeters and the weight was 59 kilograms. The car was equipped with a 50cc engine with a capacity of 4.2 horsepower. The maximum speed was 20 miles per hour. A total of 47 copies were produced. Currently, each preserved sample costs more than $100,000. It is generally believed that the era of electric vehicles originated with the formation of the Tesla company, at least in the USA, but Elon Musk was far from the first to try to spread the idea of purely electric cars in the United States. In 1974, Sebring Vanguard, later Commuter Vehicles, created an electric compact car called City Car. Despite the fact that the car looked contradictory, and indeed it could hardly be called a car, the developers managed to put their know-how on the assembly line. Pumping engines and dressing cars in spoilers and skirts is a good thing, but it is much more interesting to combine 2 things in one. Vini Bergaman has made a unique car that is also a billiard table. He decided to use an old Chevrolet Monte Carlo for such an invention. To combine a car and a billiard table, the Chevy had to be totally redone. With such a tail, the car can move on the roads and even gain a decent speed of 80 miles per hour. I wonder what the transport of the future will look like. How soon will people start moving in the air? Perhaps people will drive such miracle cars in 20 to 30 years? These models are equipped with a 750cc engine. However, in 1975, the car received a number of improvements, including an increase in the engine volume to 850cc. The Reliant Robin was well received in the 1970s due to the good work done by the company and the affordable price given its speed and fuel consumption. The Robin was first manufactured in October of 1973 as a direct replacement for the Reliant Regal. This car is similar to the vehicle that people imagined in the 40s and 50s.